Hello and welcome to my TwinBlast Hero Guide. I'm going to be talking to you about TwinBlast and what his role is within Paragon. In any other MOBA, you may know him as a marksman or an AD carry. Usually very squishy, very low mana with no real CC or escape. But what they lack in these fields, they make up for with damage. Though while TwinBlast is a beginner hero for this game, I would advise looking up other AD carries and how they work in other MOBAs, because the fact that the positioning is half the AD carry's job. If he is in a bad position, he will most likely get caught out by the enemy and die. And as the main damage, or potentially the main damage of a team, you really don't want to be getting caught out, because if your team loses you, they probably won't win team fights. And this might sound over dramatic, but losing team fights because you were out of position basically is digging your own grave and making your own way to your loss. And very quickly, I just want to talk to you about the current state of the meta. The current meta seems to be that the majority of people will go around in a death ball, quite like this, killing all the jungle minions, then ganking any nearby lanes that seem to be pushing up. And I want to explain to you why that's a bad idea. While helping your jungler at the beginning is a good idea, because you get 2/3 of the bar full, it's a bad idea because, as you can see, there are a lot of enemies in the mid lane just after we did this. And I'm able to just push up and do whatever I want. The death ball strategy might work against really stupid people, but as long as you are warding up and paying attention to your map, they should not be able to catch you out. This meta will die out, I guarantee you. There is absolutely no point to try and learn it or do it unless you're in a group of a pre-made 5. As you can see, I'm able to just walk up and I'm able to take 2/3 of the HP off of this tower at 3 minutes 30. That should not be possible. And what did they get out of mid lane? Nothing. They didn't get anything at all. So I just want to bring that to your attention. If anyone suggests that you should do this, learn how to lane and learn how to jungle, and you'll be a much better player when this dies out. And now I've talked about that, let's talk about TwinBlast's abilities. TwinBlast's passive is to increase his basic attack speed, meaning he has the fastest base attack speed in the game. His basic attacks, which are his left click, do 33 damage per hit. This is the lowest base attack damage in the game, but as I've mentioned before, TwinBlast is an AD carry, which means that he scales very well with damage and attack speed, meaning that late game he'll be a lot more efficient in his basic attacks. TwinBlast's right click, or rocket dash, can be used in multiple of ways. You can either use it to escape, move across terrain to get closer to your enemy, or if they use an ability, you can use rocket dash to dodge that ability, move closer towards them, and give them little or no choice but to escape. The Q ability, or Nitro, can be used to give a short attack speed buff over a short duration, which can be used in conjunction with his ultimate ability, meaning you get the full amount of damage off in a lot shorter duration. Which I'm sure you can imagine, in either a duel or team fight situation, the shorter the duration of the fight, the less damage you take, which is obviously better for everyone. TwinBlast's E, or grenade, is mainly used for an escape or to try and trap someone down. It lays down a grenade like that and slows them for a short duration, dealing a very small amount of damage, but also allowing you to hit multiple targets at once, being very useful for a cleanup at the end of a team fight. One thing this ability will help you develop is your game sense, meaning you will know where the enemy is going to go, when they are going to try to move there, and basically allow you to predict where to put down the trap. And now finally TwinBlast's R, or ultimate ability, Barrage. As you're able to see, I am able to pin him down because he's in travel mode, press Q to speed up my attack speed, and then use my R ability to absolutely 100 to 0 HP him within a very short time frame. I took absolutely no damage and there was no risk to me at all because I managed to get him stuck. However, you should be very careful when using TwinBlast's R ability because of the fact that enemies can stun you or knock you out of it if they use an ability to cancel it out. This is something you should be very aware of when playing TwinBlast because it can win or lose you a fight. And now quickly I just want to talk about leveling up abilities. Your first level up should be your Q, followed by your right click. Personally, I prefer the right click over the grenade because of the fact that it gives you maneuverability rather than just trying to slow someone down. And basically what you want to be doing is maxing your Q, getting your ultimate ability and left click whenever they become available, and then alternating between your E and your R depending on how your game's going. Just in case you're new to MOBAs, most abilities will do more damage when leveled up, unless of course, like your Q, it is a steroid, or your right click, which is a movement. As I explained earlier, your Q gives you a steroid on your attack speed, making you shoot faster. This is also true when you level it up. The steroid gets stronger rather than giving it damage. Hopefully this will give you some understanding as to what happens when you start to level up TwinBlast and how leveling up different abilities affect your gameplay. And now it's time to talk about my personal deck for TwinBlast. Now to talk about decks, I thought I'd do something a little different. So what I've done is I've included a link in the description of a deck that I've built on agora.gg, and then you can look at it whenever you want, regardless of looking at the video, finding the video again or whatever. And you can also, while I'm talking about the deck, read through and see if you agree with my points. So, here we go. So if you're looking at the build, your first proper item is going to be a Wind Carver Blade. That's because it gives you attack speed and attack damage in one item, and when you upgrade it fully, you get another lot of the attack speed and attack damage. So it costs you 9 points to be able to fully upgrade it. This gives you, as I mentioned, TwinBlast's main two things that he needs, attack speed and attack damage. You're then going to buy another one and do the same again, that's another 9 points. You're then going to buy one, but you're going to put a major kinetic in to give you a bit more attack speed. Then you're going to put 2 lots of major strikes in, giving you a big boost in attack damage. Then you're going to get rid of your health potion and buy a Spear of the Rift Hunter. Then you're going to upgrade that with 3 lots of crit chance to then give you a 32% chance of crits. And then you're going to buy, after discarding the mana potion, a Blade of Agora and upgrading that with 3 major strikes, giving you a large amount of attack damage and then a 50% bonus to your crit. So you'll do an extra 50% damage on top of the crit. And then for your final item, you're going to want to buy a Brand of the Iron Eater and then upgrade that with 3 lots of 2-point Drain, which will then give you 4% crit chance and bring your total up to 36 lifesteal. So if I just revise over the build here, you're going to get 272.7 physical damage, a 36% crit chance, 36 lifesteal, 50% bonus damage on top of your crit, and 58.5 attack speed. Now I'm not saying this is the end all be all of builds, because the fact that you can play them however you like really. This build is just a template of how I like to play him. All the cards are interchangeable, you can build him however you like, but I think attack speed and attack damage works really well for a duelist build. And I like to play him more as a split pusher and duelist rather than a team fighter, because he just excels really at 1v1 combat. I'm quite interested to see how you guys play him, so if you want to, you could build the deck that you have on the agora.gg deck builder and then send them to me in a comment, and I'll have a look and maybe even do a revision video and see how other people are playing him. So I'm sure as Epic release more cards, we'll find a lot more variation of builds start to come out. But anyway, I think it's time we talk about TwinBlast and why you should or shouldn't pick him and the pros and cons of doing so. TwinBlast is a good strong pick, especially if you like playing AD carries and other MOBAs. He's definitely going to be someone you want to pick up. He's a really good duelist mid and late game. He also has high damage, which means that when you get attack speed and high damage and crit chance, you can pretty much 100 to 0 people in a relatively short time. He has a gap closer, which most AD carries don't have the luxury of having most of the time. And on top of that, he has a slow for great CC, catching people or keeping people within his ult. He also has simple mechanics and easy to understand combos, and works well with almost anyone in any lane. This may sound like he's one of those too good to be true heroes. Well, it kind of is. He's got a really weak early. His auto attacks early game are like bee stings, and on top of that, he's a really squishy character. His ult can be countered by any kind of interrupt like a knock-up or a stun. He's limited by teamwork. If you don't have a very good team around you, you're going to fail, unfortunately, so you're going to have to do split pushing and trying to get 1v1s with enemy players. And I think really the most obvious weakness is that he's really predictable. He's a ranged AD carry. He's going to try and stay away. He's got a gap closer to move himself backwards. Really, you're going to want to try and just dive straight in, lock him down and get him out of the fight as soon as possible. So you will be a massive target if you pick TwinBlast. Although if you're used to playing AD carries, then this will probably be really obvious to you and you won't need to be told twice to move the hell away. Really though, I think that's all I can say on TwinBlast for the moment. He's a squishy early game ADC with a really high damage potential late game. If you've got a good team around you who understand what you're going to try and do, or you explain what you're going to try and do, you're probably going to win because the enemy team won't be able to get to you. However, if you're playing by yourself, I would definitely try out this build because you're probably going to need it. You're probably going to need to split push or do something different that doesn't involve as much teamwork, because most of the time people are going to leave you open to attack and you're going to need to escape, and yeah, basically you're just going to need to try something different. And as usual, if this was helpful or you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. The links for these are in the description. And hopefully I'll see you in the arena.